We're going right into this, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm not even going to do an intro. Screw it. What's up, dude?
Nothing much.
All right. Well, today we have a spooky episode and we're recording it. So,
Look
what
at
up,
that.
YouTube? How you doing? I can't even see. There we go. All right, now I can't see. But I figured, it's a spooky episode. You got a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Let's just, record it.
Okay.
And see where that goes. But if you're listening to this, head on over to my YouTube channel. That's where you can find all the videos we're talking about and stuff like that. But nonetheless, Nick, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. That's it. That's all I have to say. I'm pretty good.
Okay.
That's it. That's the end of the episode.
I heard that you went on a trip over to Montana.
I did. I sure did.
Yeah. How'd you like that? How was it?
I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big fan of flying on planes. And I went there. I'm a paranormal investigator. So I was flown out to investigate and film Old Montana State Prison.
Ooh.
This place was, I'll say, out of the few places that I've been to, I don't want to say many because it's not that many, but the few places that I've been to, this is definitely the scariest place I've ever been to.
I gotcha.
Actually, in my life, the scariest place I've ever been to.
Oh, my God.
Is something there is just so uncomfortable and unnatural, and it's just a feeling of pure negativity. That's the best way I can describe it.
Ooh, that sounds like the worst possible place to be on Earth.
It's something else.
Sounds like a Trump rally.
Oh, yes.
I brought out the political fucking jokes.
God.
All right. I'm kidding, everybody.
Dude, don't you know Orange Man's bad?
Flaming hot Cheeto, am I right?
Yes. All right. Enough of that.
All right. We're gonna jump into what you experienced, what your thoughts were, and all that stuff. So I mean, now, okay, hold on. I went on Instagram. I asked people, questions, and someone had a question because I don't have that many followers, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you only got one question.
It's all right. I don't have that many followers either.
All right. Okay. iPhones are so complicated, I can't even find my pictures.
Dude, sometimes it happens.
Oh, man. Okay. So this question comes from High Meals Bathroom Reviews. All right. And they ask, who would win, the Werewolf of London or the Jersey Devil?
I want to say the Jersey Devil just because I'm, rooting for my hometown heroes. Jersey Devil, I feel like, could just stomp the hell out of a werewolf. Like,
gotcha.
I don't know if you know what the Jersey Devil is supposed to look like, but it's like a horse-winged, like, really ugly, crazy-looking thing, dude. Like, I wouldn't want to be strolling down the Pine Barrens and then stumble onto the Jersey Devil.
Yeah,
because I'd get wrecked. That would not be a fun night.
No, it doesn't sound like a fun night. Oh my gosh. All right. So
yes, the Jersey Devil, by far, hands down, is taking the Werewolf of London down.
Gotcha.
With its tea and crumpets.
Yeah. Crumpets.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Is that a Black Eyed Peas song?
I don't know.
Pump it louder or something? Trumpet louder?
No, pump it. Yeah.
Okay.
I hate the Black Eyed Peas so much. I was going to do, for my film that I'm going to do, I was like, should I have a Black Eyed Peas reference in there? Because I was going to be like, because it's in the future technically.
Yes.
Someone's going to say, you're so 2000 late. And then the person's like, what does that even mean? They're like, it's Black Eyed Peas. You don't get it.
Yeah, you wouldn't get it.
And I'm like, that's kind of cringy, so I'm not going to add that.
You made the right choice.
Thank you. But yeah, it crossed my mind, and I'm like, I hate the Black Eyed Peas.
I mean, I can't say I'm a big fan.
All right, so let's get on to the good stuff, all right? Should I cue some spooky music in the background?
Yeah, if you want to.
All right, right now.
Perfect.
There we go.
All right, so
it's in there. You can't hear it, but it's there.
I hear it in my head.
All right.
So let me first start off, before we get into the Montana stuff, before we get into the spooky stuff that I've experienced, let me first start off with how I got involved with this. So I believe it all started in 2017. It's not too long ago, but It doesn't feel like too long ago, really. It feels like probably 2 months ago. Everything since then has been a blur. So I was going to, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw an ad from Ghost Hunts USA. And it was an overnight investigation at Penhurst State School and Hospital. Penhurst is I don't want to say abandoned because it's kind of abandoned because nobody's there anymore, but it's not like decrepit and decaying. So Penhurst was a state school and hospital where they housed like the mentally unwell and the insane and like really just like if anybody wasn't acting right, they just threw them in there, and that led to like overcrowding and neglect and just very bad treatment of these patients. So with that being said, we went there for this ghost hunt. It was me and a bunch of my friends. And as I was driving there, I was driving my sister's car, and the road was closed up ahead. So I was like, okay, I think I know how to avoid it. So I don't know what compelled me to do this, but I drove off in an attempt to kind of go around the closed road sign.
So still trying to get on the road.
Yeah, I don't know why, but in doing this, I got my sister's car stuck in a ditch. My sister was with me at the time, and it was very, very, very awkward.
What car were you driving? What car is it?
I don't even know what car it is. It's red. It's like I think it's a Santa Fe.
A Santa Fe.
But I don't know. I don't know cars.
Gotcha. That's fine. I just didn't know if it was like just one of the coupes or something like that.
No, it wasn't anything super fancy.
Okay.
So I got this thing stuck in a ditch, and we are there for 5 hours. The investigation was supposed to start at 9. Well, it did start at 9. It started without us, and we got there 5 hours late. So, we had to get the thing tugged out of the ditch and all that stuff. It was a very long, stressful, and, time-consuming process. I hated it.
Yeah.
So we get to Penhurst, and the way Ghost Hunts does things is it's 3 rotations of an investigation led by a paranormal investigator.
Gotcha.
So you would do one with one person in a certain part of the place, and then one with another person, and then so on and so on. We got there as soon as free roam started. So free roam is where you take everything that you kind of picked up from the paranormal investigator leading your group, and then you are lent the equipment that the investigators use. I'm trying to keep it. I am an investigator, but like it's so hard because this is the past. So you're lent the equipment that they use, and then you're able to go off and do your own thing and just act like that's
pretty cool.
It is. It's very nice. I love the system. I'll get into that.
Gotcha.
So I get there, and they let us use a piece of equipment called the Phasma Box. The Phasma Box it's really hard to explain, and it's going to sound very cheesy and very fake. But I've experienced some stuff coming from the Phasma Box that is just too intelligent to replicate in any way, or too... you just can't fake this stuff that's coming out of it.
Okay.
So we take this Phasma Box and we go down to the basement, and in the basement there's like a little chapel. It looks like a small church, like a little chapel area. And we use the Phasma Box, and we... get a voice over it, and it's a little boy, it sounded like, named Sebastian. And he tells us his name. Obviously we didn't just come up with Sebastian. Sebastian comes through, and it's not like they're saying full-on phrases. You get these words that you piece together, these things, and it's confirmed in some way. You ask, like, it's very difficult. I have a clip here that we will show of the Phasma Box in use.
Gotcha.
But Sebastian told us he was around 5 years old. If I remember correctly, he was 5 years old. Sorry, I touched your foot. That's spooky. He was 5 years old, and he died of tuberculosis. This was very specific stuff that was coming through here. And Sebastian, I felt very... kind of sad talking to him. I felt like, it was such a weird feeling. It was the first encounter I've really had with the paranormal, and it was something that opened my eyes. I initially went to Penhurst and went on this ghost hunt specifically to take pictures of this abandoned location. I've always learned, always heard about Penhurst, and I've been very interested by it. And I was just like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to Penhurst and just take pictures.
Yeah.
Ghosts aren't real. So I went there with the idea of taking pictures, and funny thing is I forgot my tripod, so I couldn't take pictures. It was all obviously night, so I can't take like a long exposure picture.
Yeah.
So I didn't do any of that, and I just actually went with a ghost hunting thing, and it opened my eyes to something. The idea that something is out there, something else, this stuff is real. So after that, I went home and I was very fascinated with the idea of Ghost Hunts USA. So what they do, and I'm not trying to plug, I'm not trying to plug them. It's a very interesting concept, and it's something that I wish a lot of more people took advantage of. So they have a bunch of locations all around the country, and different dates that you can go to these places, and it's like hard to get into places that it's a little pricey, like $150 for a person.
Oh, wow.
You can go in there and you could do this. You can have this experience, use this equipment, and just, you see the ghost hunters on the TV that you watch. You could be just like them just by doing this. So I was fascinated with that idea. And then again, I went back to Penhurst, this time with my camera, and, I was ready to film some stuff. Yeah. So I do have I don't want to say it's a full investigation. It's like highlights of my investigation at Penhurst, which is on YouTube. If you look up Ducklatch Productions, that is my YouTube channel, and I do have my investigation at Penhurst, and then I have some other ones that I will be talking about. So from that Penhurst video, it got the attention of Ghost Hunts USA, and they invited me to stay for a weekend at a location. It's supposedly the most haunted location on the East Coast. It's the Shanley Hotel in Napanook, New York. This place is what, I said the thing about Penhurst, kind of opening my eyes, but this is what, really made me realize that ghosts are real. And, this isn't a joke. I've experienced things at the Shanley that I can't explain, and it is in a documentary I made called "A Weekend at the Shanley Hotel." It's on YouTube. It's like half an hour long. If you want something to do this not holiday, this Halloween.
Thanksgiving's coming up,
and but yeah, watch that. It's I can't explain some of the stuff in there, so it's much easier if people just watch it. Yeah. But I did this thing at the Shanley Hotel, and then I waited for a few months, and then I saw Ghost Hunts was hiring investigators, and I was like, hey, you guys hiring a videographer? And they took me in, and I've been working with them ever since. So from there, I've been to, as an employee of Ghost Hunts, I've been to White Hill Mansion in New Jersey. I've been to Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, and Old Montana State Prison. So I haven't been to many places, but I have experienced a lot of things. So I have this ghost log. I don't know if we want to get into that right away.
No, we can do whatever you want. If you want to show some of the videos first, or if you want to go into that.
I'll talk about the Phasma Box. Just because you're going to see a lot of, in my ghost log, you're going to see a lot of, intelligent Phasma Box response, and I'll explain that. But the way it works is it uses sound banks and radio frequencies to kind of let the spirits, and I will just say it sounds almost like I'm crazy. It sounds like, if you don't believe in ghosts and you're hearing me talk, it sounds really weird, and I completely understand that. So that's why it's really hard for me to talk about this. But I am happily doing it here. This stuff isn't like a party trick or like something that it's cool. This is I want to say a hobby, but it's more of a job for me. It's like a profession. Yeah, and I really enjoy it. And I think that a lot of people, if you're skeptic, please try it out. Now, Phasma Box. So I just want to get it out there that I'm not crazy.
Radioactive signals.
Yes. So this thing here's where it sounds weird. It's a $15 app. that you
Okay.
get. You can't use it with any like Apple devices or Android devices. It has to be a Windows tablet.
Okay.
So
Any specific reason why?
I don't know. I don't know specifically how this thing works. And I'm not going to bring it in here to show you because it's just like playing with a Ouija board. Once you use a device that they could use to communicate back to you, you open something up and it allows them to,
Gotcha.
it's weird.
kind of like Insidious.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And I don't want to bring something like that into your home. I don't want to bring something like that into my own home.
Yeah.
I only use stuff like that in these places. Or, I tried it at the ruins once. Didn't really get much.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if the ruins is haunted,
Yeah, now it's haunted thanks to you.
Yes.
Now I can't go back there.
If anyone goes back there and they get touched or they hear some voices, sorry. But yeah, so this thing, it's a $15 app. Look up phasmabox.com or something. You'll find it. Download it on your Windows tablet. Have fun with it. So there's another device called the Spirit Box. And it's like you hear a lot of static and it's like and it just going through radio frequencies. What this thing does, the Phasma Box, is it kind of cuts out that static. So then you just hear the words. So it sounds echoey, it sounds kind of distorted, and that's exactly why. It's not echoey because to make it sound spooky, it's echoey because that's the only way we'd be able to really make out what's being said.
Gotcha.
What comes through the Phasma Box, if it's a gender, it's it might not always be that gender. If it's a child like Sebastian, it might not have been Sebastian. It might have been a crazy demon thing that was just trying to get me down there to talk to it and give it attention. So I'll go into demons in a little bit once we get to
that might be a
Montana.
touchy subject because I don't care if you're talking about people who have passed and stuff like that and they're still around, but when you talk demons I freak out
Dude, then I gotta talk demons.
Fuck, I'm already kind of freaked out. I'm kind of like the fuck, when you started talking about the box and how you didn't bring it in here because you didn't want to bring something in here.
Yes.
I'm fucking scared. I have to sleep there tonight. All these lights are gonna stay on. I'm gonna be like this, and I'm gonna be like, fuck. I guess I'm not getting any sleep. I gotta be up at 5 a.m. Fuck.
Hey, I do too.
There we go.
Yes. So
you feel my pain.
The difference between you and I is that I can sleep happily. Actually, just kidding.
I can't.
Some nights after an investigation, I get nightmares.
I can only imagine. But you know what? You do that to yourself.
You're
so
right.
I have
You're
no
right.
pity.
You're right. I do. So the Phasma Box. So let's get into. I don't know if I want to play the Folsom Prison clip or the Death Row.
Up to you. What would fit the narrative better?
I'd say that the Folsom clip shows the intelligence that could be brought through it. I mean, both of them do, but we'll show the Death Row clip when the time comes. Yeah, so that one. So what you're going to see in this is, let's pause it for a sec. Oh. So what you're going to see in this is we're using this thing, and sometimes on an investigation, we use music to kind of get a response from the spirits.
Okay.
So we're playing Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues.
Oh, all right.
And the Phasma Box, or whatever's using the Phasma Box to communicate with us, is referencing the song in a very intelligent way. So let's watch the clip.
So, okay.
Oh,
yeah. No,
on.
I mean, no, I'm asking questions that are just going to be explained in this clip. So I'm just not even going to ask
all
the
right.
questions.
If they're not answered, ask after.
I will. All right. Here we go.
You might hear me react in this.
Whoa. Dragging on.
Yes.
That's what it sounded like.
Stop and hurt me.
Go back?
Doesn't kick in.
So it says go back, and then we play the song back a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
That time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps rolling down the sad and long. When I was just a baby, my mama told me
Did it just say Folsom?
always be
That's what it sounded like, yeah.
don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blow, I hang my head and cry.
You want more?
What?
It said gunshot wounds.
Gun
I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die, and then it says gunshot wounds.
Oh.
So it is a kind of long clip, but I didn't want to cut it up because then, if I cut it up, I could just, it seems more fake. So I kept it real time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how they communicate. It's really weird. And a lot of people can say that's fake, but you can't connect to the internet with that. You can't. Nobody can listen in on that and give responses through. It's like I don't understand how it works, but I also I can't explain how such intelligent things come out of that.
Yeah.
So what was your question?
I guess my question was I forget.
Nice.
Shit.
Okay. Good.
But I guess it was answered because they would just say things similar to what was being played or something like that. Like I didn't know if they would directly quote it or they would just be like, oh, kind of relate to it.
Yes.
I guess another question of mine is okay, so they can hear us.
Mm-hmm.
We can hear them now.
Yes.
Because we have technology.
Yes.
So my whole thing is what are ghosts? Are they just people's conscious just floating around kind of thing or something like that? Is there something after death kind of, do some of us just die and some of us just stick around kind of thing? So it's very weird.
That's a really good question, and it's not something that I could answer.
Yeah. I didn't know if you had an opinion on
but
it.
I do have an opinion. So what happens after we die? What happened before we were born?
Nothing.
Exactly. I don't know what happens after we die. I don't know if there is anything. And that's what, to me, makes death so kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
What is there? And then it's comforting knowing that, there's these things that kind of stick around after death, like these spirits. But also, one of the big general ideas is that spirits are stuck here because they experience something so traumatic that they can't move on.
Yeah.
I think that's a little too deep. I don't exactly know if that's the correct answer. But then again, I don't have the authority to comment on that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel I don't know, at least from my experience and listening to you and stuff, I think maybe the spirits want to leave. They don't want to be there. Some of them do, and those are the bad ones. But, I can't imagine it's a painless experience for them. They're feeling pain. They're going through stuff. They want closure, but they're not going to get it.
Yes.
So have you ever seen or experienced maybe helping one of these ghosts
Yes.
kind of have closure and then they're gone?
I've never, actually done that. I did watch something like that kind of being kind of taking place. My friend Tyler, who is also, he's in Ghost Hunts USA, down in Old Montana State Prison. We were in the chapel, and the chapel is the chapel is on a whole other level of not okay. It's something is super duper evil down in that basement area.
Yeah.
And I remember Tyler was trying to help it, move on. and just trying to help get it to where it needs to go. But that's like the only real thing. I know that sometimes we leave, if they call out for something, like they want cigarettes or something, we leave cigarettes for them.
Oh, interesting.
We try to help them as much as we can. And there's a lot of the times where, in Eastern State Penitentiary in particular, I hear help come over the Phasma Box a whole lot. And I ask, like, how can I help you? Like, I'm here to help you. Please let me know what you want. And I have some responses, I believe, in there. But most of the times, like, they just don't say anything. They just say help. And then, I don't know what they want, so I can't help them. It's such a weird thing, hearing that come over and then not knowing what to do.
Yeah. Damn. That kind of sucks.
It does. And it makes me feel bad. Like, I have the ability to help them. I mean, hold on. I don't have any psychic abilities. That's not what I meant. I have the ability. I am a physical human being.
Yeah.
That's alive. I can get them, whatever they want. I can't, like, do any of their unfinished business or whatever. Yeah. But I could try my best to, in that specific location, in the amount of time that I'm there, I could try my best to help them move on.
Yeah.
I can't open up the door to heaven.
Yeah.
To push them through.
Interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how the Phasma Box works. And I guess we'll go into my ghost log.
Okay.
All right. So this is it right here. It is a Eventbrite book. Shout out to Eventbrite.
Yeah. Stellar system.
It really is. So my first recorded log, it's not going to be Penhurst or the Shanley Hotel because those were very well documented, at least I think so, in my videos.
Yeah.
So my first recorded one is February 22nd and the 23rd. These are two investigations I did up at, I don't even know if I just said it, White Hill Mansion in New Jersey.
You did not. But
okay, good.
Thank you.
So I heard intelligent knock responses in the attic. So what that means is sometimes we'll be like, can you knock for us? Can you knock 2 times? Can you finish this? And it's like... And then we leave the last 2 knocks for them. Yeah. Which I think is a little bit too complicated for them. So I'm just like, hey, can you knock? Can you make a loud bang? Can you, let us know that you're here?
So they can interact with things.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I've heard knocking. I've heard bangs. I've heard in Eastern State, I've heard cell doors close. I've heard them rattle. Footsteps. They're very common in these places. Actually, the next one on here is footsteps. I had a fixation on the wine cellar room in the basement at White Hill. So the whole time I was there, I just kept staring down at this. There's like a wine cellar. I did a promo video for White Hill Mansion, and in the video you'll see this thing. Yeah. But it's like this really weird, decrepit wine cellar. Yeah. And for some reason, I just kept looking back there. And I was like, why am I just staring into this gross hole? And then I talked to somebody about it, and they were like, yeah, slaves were chained up there. Oof. Because this place is like 300 years old. It's older than the country. So yeah, they said that slaves were chained up back there, and it was so weird. So I sat in there for a little bit. And then I just kind of sat there, and it was a really weird feeling. Again, I'm going to use that a lot. I'm going to use a weird feeling a lot just because there's simply no other way to explain it. Yeah. The best piece of equipment that you could possibly bring on an investigation like this is your own body, your senses, your eyes, your ears, just feeling the energy around you. It's difficult to explain. It could only really be described, or it can only really be experienced. Yeah. So again, like, you don't need this super duper expensive high-tech ghost hunting equipment. Just go to one of these places and just feel, ground your energy. What I always like to do before I start an investigation is I take 5 minutes and I'm like, hey, just be quiet, take a few breaths, and just try to soak in everything, all the energy around you, and just feel what it was like to be in this place when it was active. In Eastern State, I always went to cell block number 1. Cell block number 1 was the first one built, and it's just something there. I just had an attachment to that one when I walked in there, so I chose it. And I always bring people in there and ground them, and then I instruct them to look down the end of the hallway, look down that end of the hallway. If you see something move, that's not human, that's a spirit, a shadow, which is very common. I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I hate that.
So another thing, voices conversations in Whitehill. This is the second on my ghost log. So voices, you'll hear what sounds like a conversation happening in the distance, like in another room, or you'll hear when I talk, you have the bass in my voice. You'll hear that coming from somewhere. Nobody's talking. The building's empty.
Yeah,
but you're hearing that. My voice cracked there. That's not you never hear a ghost voice crack. Shadows, like I just said. Very sick / intense headache in the basement. Yes, so when I was in the basement and I was looking down the wine cellar, I kept getting this, I kept feeling nauseous and getting a headache. A lot of the time when spirits affect you, they can, kind of take energy from you and make you feel drained. They're just using whatever they can to kind of be able to then communicate with us.
So can they take your energy to talk to you? Is that
yes,
kind of how
yes.
they
I can't say it's like taking energy from like a battery. I mean, they do drain camera batteries. I know that for a fact.
Oh, really?
They do. Yes, they. I was actually in Old Montana. I was using my gimbal, and I literally turned it on. I charged them. I charged the batteries the whole day. I turned it on, and 5 minutes later, I couldn't use it. The gimbal was just dead.
Damn.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's weird. But it's not like they're going to use so much of your body's energy to the point where you're going to be passed out.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I'm not.
But like it could make you feel like weird.
Yeah.
Like it could make you feel drained.
Yeah.
I was weak in the knees outside of the bordello. Heyo. Upstairs in the attic, they put me in there and they just set me alone in the dark, and they were like, "Hey, if you want to go talk to Nick, he's right there. He's all alone." And, I don't know if it was because I was so scared just being alone in the dark that my knees started to get shaky or what. But yeah, I just put that down there.
Gotcha.
So that was with Whitehill. I'm going to Whitehill this upcoming weekend, the 26th. So I'll be there, and that's going to be another entry in the ghost log. But since then, I haven't been back. So we'll start Eastern State Penitentiary. This is... Yes.
That's a notorious one. Like, a lot of people talk about it.
Fun fact about Eastern State, I don't even think I should say this. They don't like being associated with haunted things. They don't like being associated with evil energy.
So it's more, they want to be associated with just like a museum or
exactly.
history.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I said it.
This isn't the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yes. I don't know if that was me. Let me turn my phone off.
You're fine.
No, I'm turning my phone off. Actually, I need that because the damn it, I have some ghost log stuff in there. We'll get back to that. So Eastern State Penitentiary. I had intense back pain on death row. And this happens pretty much anytime I go into death row or anytime a man goes into death row. For some reason, like the base of your neck just feels like it's getting squeezed, and it hurts. It really hurts. So that's another thing. Like these entities, these things can, make you feel pain.
Yeah.
They could do
Not
stuff like that.
Excruciating
Exactly.
pain, but
it hurt after a while. It was weighing on me. Shadows peeking from cell blocks. So, like I said, if I look down a cell block, you can see the outside exit down the opposite cell block. So if I'm looking down cell block 1, I see straight down cell block 5.
No, okay.
But then sometimes the light that's coming from outside will go away. That's unexplainable. My voice keeps cracking.
That's all right.
It's a shadow thing walking, in between the cell blocks. Phasma Box finishing the Lord's Prayer on death row, which I have that clip.
Interesting.
And then a guy got scratched in the back of his neck. So that was just April 5th, at Eastern State Penitentiary. I do have more, but do you want to play the clip of
we
the
can
death
do
row
that.
thing?
Yeah.
All right, let's check it out. I'm gonna turn my phone back on.
How about this? Can you finish this? Our Father, who art in...
That just said heaven.
Did it?
The first thing, it was like a high-pitched heaven.
Deliverance? From evil? I think he's trying to read
The prayer.
That's like the next
Uh-huh.
one.
I'm
The
so
more
glad
Father.
other people are here. It helps me. Ask some questions.
Did that just say bud? Can you finish the prayer for us? God, it's something.
Did that say Our Father?
I heard
I heard our
God.
Father. I heard our Father as well.
So that was that.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah, it's weird. It's really
Yeah.
again, I can never explain how that thing works, but like, I consider that solid evidence of an intelligent response coming through that thing.
Gotcha.
Um,
So, my thing is, are they saying it and it's just picking it up? Or are they using that machine and like kind of like going through that?
I'd say so. Again, how I said it's like using a Ouija board. It's using a tool that they could use to communicate back to us.
Okay.
I think my theory is that they are using whatever equipment to talk to us. It's not like we're picking something up.
Gotcha.
Actually, I do have an experience with the Phasma Box where it sounds like I'm just listening to an event that's taking place. I'll talk about that later. But I think that most of the time it's them just directly communicating to us through this. So think of it as like a telephone that you're using to talk to these spirits.
Gotcha. Interesting. Oh,
How do you feel about that?
them being able to communicate, or
Just the clip. How do you feel about, at the moment, how do you feel about ghosts?
creeped out.
Okay, good.
I
good.
I don't know. There's something like I'm not saying I don't believe them, but I'm like I don't fully.
That's perfectly fine.
But like it's it creeps me out. That's why I don't want to believe is because it creeps me out.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. And it, I don't have like a negative opinion on people who do believe, and that's totally fine. I mean, people believe in a book,
Yeah.
like, all right,
I gotcha.
So, it's like to each their own is my kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the more I hear about it, the more I start to believe. But then again, it's like it's not going to make me want to go to a ghost hunt or
Yeah.
try and experience
Yeah.
these things. Like it doesn't feel right to me, kind of thing.
Okay, no, yeah.
So it's like, yeah,
My favorite thing is when skeptics come on investigations. Because
that must be fun.
Yes, it is very fun. Sometimes, they could be like kind of a jerk about it, but other times like they could be open, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get them leaving like, hey, I'm leaning towards, believing. But also another thing is I try to debunk every piece of equipment I get, or not equipment. What? I try to debunk every piece of evidence that I could possibly, try. So if I hear a bang, I try to replicate that bang in any way. If I hear a knock, I try to make sure that, nobody in the room is knocking. I try to make sure that nobody's like doing this as a joke.
Yeah.
If anybody in Ghost Hunts USA is caught like faking something,
Yeah.
we're fired instantly and never coming back.
Oh yeah, no, that makes
And if
total
like
sense.
we see guests doing it, we got to kick them out.
Oh,
So like,
okay.
yeah, so we can't have somebody just like making everyone think that there's something going on, because then that just sucks. Everyone's excited and then it just finds out
And
it's
then, oh.
Scuba Steve in the back just knocking on
Zoinks,
something.
man. Yeah.
Yes. So I always try to debunk whatever I can. What I can debunk, I don't talk about again, because it's just, it's nothing. What I can't debunk is what I talk about. I've had some experiences like that in Whitehill with the intelligent knocking. I tried my best to debunk it any way that I possibly could. I went in different rooms and I tried to knock, and I told the guy that I was with, like, stay in this room, see if it sounded like that. And it didn't. Nothing replicated that noise.
Yeah.
So it was just, it's weird. I try to, make sense of what I can, and what I can't explain. It's as
Gotcha.
simple as that.
Yeah. So how do you feel about Ghost Adventures, on Travel Channel or whatever?
I'm happy that you brought that up.
Okay.
I don't watch them.
Do you think a lot of it's staged?
I really do.
Okay.
I do think a lot of it is staged, and I remember I'm not going to bring up anyone's name, but somebody was like on like a production assistant or something on like a ghost show, and they like spent 20-something days at a haunted location.
Oh wow.
Like to just get like I don't know what the hell they're spending 20-something days at a thing to get like evidence for.
Yeah.
It's just like it's really bizarre. I think a lot of it has to be made up because there's so many times in a ghost hunt where like you go and it's not that active.
Yeah.
You can't, make like haunted experiences. You can't make them talk to us or do anything.
Mhm.
So I guess it does make sense for why they had to spend 20-something days at this location.
Yeah.
To
get something.
Yeah, anything really. But then again, like I spent a weekend at the Shanley Hotel. That's literally the name of the documentary, and I got so much stuff.
Yeah.
And I have actually had people comment on it saying you get more stuff than Ghost Adventures. I mean, you're right, but then again, like I don't know. It's just that's how things work sometimes.
Yeah. And in terms of another part of that question is like they get a lot of video evidence.
Yes.
They get a lot of like, audio and like that feeling kind of thing.
Yes.
But they get a lot more video evidence that I've seen.
Exactly, yes.
I mean, granted, they're putting cameras everywhere and stuff like that, but is it really that common?
No.
Yeah.
I thought that I got like a shadow figure standing behind me in the Shanley documentary, but then again, like looking back, it could just be grain. It does kind of look like a face, but it also looks like grain.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Video evidence is much harder, but like audio evidence is very common. Hearing stuff, you can't always pick it up with like digital recorders or anything. Hearing stuff, you will experience that. I will say that. Feeling stuff, you will feel a change in temperature, energy. You'll feel like a breeze when you shouldn't be feeling a breeze. That stuff is very common, and that's another thing that I can't explain.
Yeah.
Let's get back into Eastern State Penitentiary.
Gotcha.
Because there's some interesting stuff. This is the first time I'm looking back at this since I've
really?
written it. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I like when I write one, I don't go back to it.
Yeah.
I just keep it here in case somebody wants to know all the stuff that I've experienced. So where are we? We already did it April 5th, so let's go to April 6th, the next day. So I heard screaming in the cell blocks. So I was walking down a cell block and like
I would
from the
hate
back.
that.
It's weird. It's really, really, really weird.
I would bolt.
Yeah.
I would see it's like I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
But like if someone says like, like hey, or like my name's Jim, cool. Like, interesting. But if someone's screaming like help or like just blood curdling screams, I don't want to be anywhere near that. Like, whether they're alive or dead, like,
I get it.
That's just like an unsettling feeling that I don't think anyone enjoys.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's something you shouldn't hear.
Unless you're a sociopath.
Yes.
I mean, like
but I heard it. It was a male, and it was just like a scream. It wasn't like a scary scream. It sounded like almost like a pain, like a scream in pain.
Because you can tell whether something's out of anger or pain or you know.
It was
like
it was just
jokingly.
How like when you yell when you don't want to be somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
I mean, I've never done that, but I can. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, and that's the only way I could really describe it. And it makes sense because they're in a prison.
Yeah.
What was that? Spinning dowsing rods and medical. Dowsing rods are really weird. I don't really think that dowsing rods are that legit.
Okay.
But when I saw like 6 different sets of dowsing rods all spinning in a circle, that was pretty weird. So normally dowsing rods are like used to find water or something, and they're the sticks that you hold with your hands, and then they go wherever. But these things were spinning. And I'm talking like people were all in a circle in the medical wing, and they were just going around. It was weird.
Does it like follow energy, or does it?
I don't know.
Okay.
They're just used to find water or something.
Interesting.
I guess it's.
It'll like point in the direction of water.
Yeah. Look up the Wikipedia of dowsing rods. I'm not sure how those work. I don't use them just because I don't. I don't really quite think that they're legit.
Gotcha.
But again, like I said, seeing like all of those things just swirling around, that was really bizarre. What else? Oh yeah, a piece of the ceiling fell down when we were walking through medical. So at Eastern State, the ceiling, it's obviously an old building, but somebody was like, "Oh, you dropped your phone," and then we look, and it's actually a part of the effing ceiling that fell down. A chunk of it, just kind of like plaster or something, just fell down and crashed between like a group of people. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think it was really like ghost related, but I just think it was worth noting in my log that a piece of the ceiling fell down. Did we see how dowsing rods work?
So
water witches.
Ooh. So-called divining rods, copper or wood, to find water deep underground.
I don't know how that works.
Detect underground water sources. Interesting. It's
like magnets. How do they work?
Yeah. There has to be some, like, something. They've never been shown to work in controlled scientific tests. Gotcha. So it's kind of like
It's yeah.
It doesn't say when it was invented.
Dude, that looks old. 18th century?
The camera. I don't know if you see. 1518.
1518? Damn, dude.
This is some.
It's a lot of time for people to be spinning sticks.
Yeah, this is before. This is before Salem Witch. I can't believe I had to think about that. The trials. So you know that these people were loopy.
Yes.
I think all the inventions that came like right after, like during colonial times, everybody was just crazy because they were drinking seawater for days.
That's a really interesting theory. Yeah, I mean, they could just be super duper dehydrated.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we grew up without the internet, would we think witches are real?
You're right. That's a really good take. That's high IQ thinking.
Someone just brings it up and you're like, I can't disprove this. Yeah. I can't Google it.
You're a witch. There's no other way to describe it.
If you die, you're not a witch, but if you live, you are a witch.
Yes.
That's some kind of like ridiculous thinking.
Now that's
but like,
high IQ thinking.
That's seawater IQ.
Yes. So you got seawater on the brain.
Jeez.
Dude, so we'll get into this. You're gonna love this one.
00042.
Yes. So we'll talk about 42 in a bit.
Oh no.
So on to the next Eastern State Penitentiary. I think I have like 7 of these. So
okay, before we get into that, just popped up in my head. Do you think it is easier to capture like actual proof, like picture proof, with a digital camera or a film camera?
I have no experience with a film camera.
Gotcha.
So I don't know.
Okay.
But I do know that if you use the live photo mode with your iPhone, which records audio and video, a lot of people have actually gotten really good stuff with that.
Interesting.
Also, if you use your phone, just what we always say is to take 3 pictures.
Okay.
In like if you take in one picture, take 3 of them, because you never know if something's moving in the background or if you catch something.
Okay.
So it's always, smart to do that. So phones are actually very helpful because not everyone's going to be carrying a DSLR to these things.
Yeah.
Except for me.
Because
it's kind of my job. But that's always, it's, with the advancing technology, it's much easier to capture everything you see. So
my mom went on one of the, I guess, ghost hunts ghost tours a while back. This is when, like, you know, the little point and shoots were just
Yes.
becoming a thing. So she brought hers. They're like, oh, use the flash, and if you see these little orbs, they're spirits.
Now,
And
orbs, I'm gonna shoot down right now.
I'm about to shoot it
Okay,
down.
let's-
My mom's like, look, when you zoom in, it looks like a face. I'm like, that's just a reflection on the lens or a piece of dust or maybe even a bug.
Dude,
like, you know,
I don't know how many times people are like, it's an orb. And I'm like, no, it's dust. But I can't say it's dust because they're so excited and happy that they found something. So I'm like, okay, that's a great piece of evidence. Nice job. But like,
you're lying to these people.
I know. But like, then like they have something to go home and tell their friends about. Like, hey, I found a ghost.
Yeah.
No, it's a piece of dust.
Yes.
And I'm just, it hurts my...
Especially with the flash.
Yes,
Like when they're
yes.
like, oh, use the flash.
Dude,
you'll
especially
find something.
in like old abandoned places like these, you're gonna get nothing but dust.
Yeah, you'll find
So,
it in
like,
every room.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my god, it's on your shoulder. Like,
I will say that there's some orbs that like if they're followed by a feeling of something or like a thought. Or
I did see an episode of that on Ghost Adventures where
Yes.
like they're like, oh, this strange orb goes into his head and then he feels something, and I'm like,
that's
coincidence,
if they move
maybe.
with intelligence and it's not a bug. I mean, it's hard to tell if it's a bug or not.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna just say I don't take orbs that seriously.
Gotcha.
I
Just
don't-
like the water.
Yes,
rods.
the dowsing rods.
Yeah.
What's next?
The
So
groundwater.
April 26th. Something really big happened April 26th. Avengers Endgame came out.
Ooh.
Another thing that happened is I went to Eastern State Penitentiary another time. So here's what I felt. Feeling of immense sadness and crying in cell block 3. Yes, I cried. I felt, for some reason, I felt like I missed my mother so much. My mom was just sitting at home, you know, I don't know what she was doing, but like I felt like I was never going to see my mom again.
Interesting.
And I started crying. And this has happened multiple times where I start crying out of nowhere. And that's how they affect people sometimes. And what I believe happened in that moment is I felt what somebody was feeling.
Gotcha.
What I felt what like I don't know how to talk anymore. I felt like I was feeling the emotions, the thoughts of somebody who is stuck in that prison.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Cell doors rattling. Sometimes it happened when we asked it to. So we'd be like, hey, rattle that cell door. And it would be like, brrr, rattling the cell door.
Interesting.
Very clear shadow figure walking across the cell block, followed by the sound of doors creaking open in that direction. I do remember this one very clearly. It was very spooky. So if you ever
I think
go...
that's the first time you've said like an encounter was spooky.
Yes, this one stuck with me. If you ever investigate with me and I'm, you know, leading the investigation or I'm filming the investigation you're taking part in, I get creeped out a lot. I like when something happens, like this is the voice I use. I'm like, what is that? Like, in some of the clips you'll hear, like I literally like it just sounds so stupid. It sounds like I'm laughing, but I'm just so like
It's
what
just
the
that
fuck is
feeling.
happening? You know, like it's just so it's almost like a rush of adrenaline mixed with fear.
I just want you to know, if I was with you and the people that are with you and my guide turned to me and went, what the fuck was that? I'd be like, holy shit.
Like there's been times where like, because I always tell them, look down that way, and that
Yeah.
way's behind me. And then they're like, something just moved behind you. And I'm like, hold on. I hate hearing that.
I would hate that
Yes.
so much. I was like dog sitting one time, and my buddy Nick, he has this little Pomeranian. They do the eye thing because they're manipulative little devils. Because and she was just on my lap and she was looking up at me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at? Like she would like. And I'm like, whoa, bro. I'm like, what are you looking at? All right, get back in your kennel. I'm out. Peace. I'm going to leave Ghost Adventures on for you.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. It's just that feeling of like,
I hate
yo,
it.
something's behind you kind of thing.
I
like,
really,
like
especially
right now, I know there's a lot of open space behind me. And
don't
like,
worry, I'm watching. There's nothing
dude,
back there.
I know, but like whenever you don't make eye contact with me, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, sometimes I don't make eye contact and I'm just looking off into the distance so that way I can think.
Like for a split second, I'm like, oh shit, and then I'm like, ah, wait.
No, yeah.
I'm like, I'm overthinking this.
What's next? So Yeah, randomly getting the feeling of missing my mom. I talked about that. Phasma Box reading people's cards on death row. So sometimes we pass out playing cards, and we're like, "Hey, look at your card. If this number is called, say it." And then we ask the Phasma Box, "Hey, can you read someone's card number?" And then 7 of hearts or something would come up, and they're like, "Hey, that's my card." So that's what would happen.
Oh, I hate that. I would hate
Intelligent
my
music
card.
box responses, which I think was that the Johnny Cash clip we played.
Yeah.
Footsteps, guests getting sick, having trouble breathing. EVPs, we would ask somebody would be like, come up with a random word right now, and then they'd say peanut butter, and then we're like, hey, can you say peanut butter? And we'd play the recorder and then say, ask, and then literally like straight up it said peanut butter. And then we asked, who's the president? And a spirit said Trump. And then I was like, Orange Man bad. And then okay, so then May 18th.
Damn, the spirits are voting for Trump.
Dude,
That's how
they
he
really
won.
are.
Damn.
I'm telling you, it was rigged. The Phasma Box seemed to capture an event being replayed. Doctors were called. People were shouting about blood. He committed suicide was shouted through the Phasma Box. That was a full phrase. It seemed to play out in real time, and it lasted 3 sessions. So remember at the start, I told you how it's split into 3 sessions.
Oh, okay.
Eastern State is split into 4. Sorry, I talked
No,
very...
you're fine.
Eastern State is split into 4 because there is no free roam there.
Okay.
So we have to go, with that. So
why is that? Why is there no free room there? Is it just really big, or?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but we're not allowed to be anywhere that's not accompanied by a member of the Eastern State Penitentiary staff.
Ah, okay.
So we can't let guests just go anywhere.
Okay, so
just because it is like a national historic thing.
Gotcha. Okay, so
which makes sense.
Okay. That makes sense.
What was I going to say? So this event was playing out, and it literally lasted 3 sessions. I bring another group in, and I let them know, hey, we're getting some stuff on the Phasma Box that seems to be like, I don't know if the correct words for it is residual. Like it sounds like it's an actual event that happened in the past, and we're just hearing it. So like, doctors would be called in one session, and then like, it would kind of set in, and then like you would hear people like shouting in another session, and then like, I didn't record it because I was investigating in that one, but it was an experience for sure. And it definitely seemed like I was listening in on something that happened long ago.
Can you not record when you're like leading a session?
Yes, just because I feel like I would be too distracted getting like guest reactions and stuff like that.
What if you had a GoPro on? Have you looked into getting one of those?
I would like to do that, but like then again, if I were to do that, it's like the thing with cameras and dark places is that IR is very necessary.
Okay.
Infrared. So you need that night vision. Otherwise, you have a giant light on your head that will be blinding. So it's difficult to kind of figure out. Like Ghost Hunts USA, we just now figured out a camera that will work for this. And we figured out IR lights that will also work. And we're developing kind of like a thing to use and give to investigators to just kind of sit, like just put it on a tripod and just let it sit and record the investigation, just in case something happens. But it's, to me, I don't record while I'm investigating just because I feel like I would be too distracted and I wouldn't give the guests the experience that I feel like they deserve. Because again, it is all about, the guest experience.
Yeah, and they're paying
exactly. I don't want them to feel like, this dude wasn't doing anything. He was just worrying about his camera.
Yeah.
So,
have you guys looked into the I know you said infrared and stuff like that. I guess what I'm thinking is, no, did you say infrared or are you talking? Okay. So there's actually like a little attachment you can hook up to your phone that
really
shoots infrared. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I mean,
Holy I have so many more Eastern State Penitentiary things than I thought I did. And I'll talk about all of them for 3 hours. Oh, Fleer, yes.
Yeah. So, how much is this bad boy?
Doesn't have a price. Oof.
Yep. I mean, for something that can connect to anything. I know a lot of the science YouTube channels that I watch have those, so I didn't know, like, you know, because they get pricey.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
like,
do.
So what about night vision? Kind of like stuff like, you know, the whole green thing.
Yeah, so we use there's like some Sony cameras that do night vision. We're sticking with a camera. I think it's the Psionics Aurora camera.
Yeah.
It's designed for like fishing at night, like recording fishing at night. But
okay.
obviously, we're not fishing at night in Eastern State
You're fishing
Penitentiary.
for something.
Yeah, we're
trouble.
hunting. Yes. So that's what we're going to start using now. And I don't want to make the mistake of like saying what we're using, because I remember Nick Carrodo from Ghost Adventures said the name of a device, and then like the device went from the price was $40 and now it's $3,000.
Oh my god.
So I mean, it's not like the Joe Rogan podcast or anything.
Yeah,
but that's what we use.
Yeah.
the Psionics Aurora night vision camera.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, companies will take advantage of that.
Yes,
like,
exactly. If they
right.
supply and demand, you know.
Yeah. It's the same with the vape batteries when
Yes.
you know,
Or the
people,
vape cartridges now that they're getting banned.
the THC ones. Like,
Yes.
I don't want to go into that. I'm very whatever.
I gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, what was I gonna say? Shit.
I don't know.
Yeah, the same with the vape batteries. Samsung made like an 18650 battery, and when they caught wind of like, oh, people are buying this for, you know, e-cigarettes and stuff like that, they're like, all right, discontinue that shit. You know, I don't blame them, but like, you know, companies either don't want to be associated with this thing. Like maybe the people who make the cameras for fishing will be like, oh, we don't want that, so we're just gonna like discontinue it or something like that. So I totally get, like, you know, why you kind of keep your equipment on like the down low.
I mean,
kind of
obviously,
thing.
like if you come out with us, we'll tell you like what specific equipment we're using. But then again, like all of it's super duper expensive. So like the normal, you know, average Joe isn't going to go out and spend $400 on a stuffed dog that lights up when something touches it, you know.
Some equipment like for stuff, it blows my mind. Like
it's so
the price point for it. We use a light meter at work, so you know we can make sure all the lights are perfectly, like, you know, letting off the same amount of light, so everything's consistent, and we don't have to change our camera settings because that's what we want them at. I'm like, you know, like instead of like, you know, using their, you know, light meter and stuff like that, I'm like, I'll just get my own. The cheapest one I could find was $300. Like, it's this little box thing.
Yes, exactly. It's such a small thing that's just so expensive.
I'm like, why? Like, does somebody have like a monopoly on this thing and they're just like, F this, like, you know?
That might be how it works.
I don't know, but it's some stuff just blows my mind. Like, I can't imagine how expensive that damn Phantom box is.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure it's a couple thousand. Like
the one voice recorder we use, it's like $3,000 because it
that's
blew
insane.
up. And then the Phasma Box, again, it's $15, but you got to have a Windows tablet. And then the Spirit Boxes, they go from like $60 to like, I think the most I saw one was like $350. But there's a lot of ghost hunting equipment that is super expensive. Like just an EMF detector, which like detects like fluctuations in electromagnetic energy. Those things are like $60 a piece. I guess that's reasonable, but like we got a lot of them. We got like 30 of them.
Damn.
Let's see. That was totally my phone. So Phasma Box, we just got some more intelligent responses. Emily, something came through that said, "My name is Emily." Emily is going to be brought up multiple times. And then, you know, I asked, what cell block are we in? The Phasma Box said 1. Let's go to a different day. That was May 18th. Now we're going to May 25th. Cell block 1, Phasma Box sessions. My name was being called, followed by help and other calls for help.
Oy.
There's another. God, I'm turning this off. I'm just
Your
putting it on
name
Do Not
was
Disturb.
called?
Yes,
You
my
were
name.
called by name.
This has
Oh my
happened
gosh.
multiple times, and it makes me feel special, like I'm important in some way. But then again, like they know my name.
Yeah.
So I've been there way too often for them to kind of be familiar with me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's like that would creep me out.
The one time I wasn't there at Eastern State investigating, because I tried to be there every time we investigated it throughout the year. The one time I wasn't there, my name was also being called through the Phasma Box. It's almost like they were asking for me.
Yeah.
In cell block 1. Which is, it's pretty neat. It's interesting.
Damn.
On
You're a
this
celebrity over there.
Dude, I guess. At least, I'm a celebrity to somebody.
Oh, you have 80 million Instagram followers? Well,
yes.
Are you called by name by spirits? No, I don't think so.
Emily, again, on May 25th was called days after she originally came through. Shadows were seen towards cell block 5, knocking on cell doors. That night, I remember the atmosphere was off. It just didn't seem right. And that was one of the nights where I was very scared.
Yeah.
Something just wasn't, it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And everyone that was there just kind of had this feeling of just negativity. It was very bizarre.
Yeah. No, I get that feeling sometimes too. Like some days it's like you try and keep positive, but you just got like either something bad happened during that day and it's just like threw your whole day off. Like your mojo is just off. So yeah, no, I get that feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else can relate.
I guess it's a common thing, just being in touch with energy and like everyone's energy around you.
Yeah.
You get that feeling of like something's not right. And I guess it's like a natural thing with people.
Yeah.
June 22nd, cell block 7. There were some Phasma Box responses referencing Johnny Cash lyrics. That's the video that we saw. Emily is called again in cell block 1 a month after some EVPs in death row. We asked her to say pineapple. They said pineapple.
Wow.
July 13th. Here it is. You ready for 42? 42 has audible evidence of a disembodied pig snort that was heard by everybody in cell block 1.
No way.
Yes.
So wait, you're
going to hear it.
Pigs?
A pig. Dude, now, you ready to talk about demons?
No, I really, that you saying that made me almost cry. Like,
okay.
I'm just going to be like, I really don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk? Do you
I
not?
Really don't.
You don't want to talk about it?
No. Like,
okay, then I will not talk about it. Do you want to hear the clip? Dude, your dog is barking now. Like,
yeah, freaked me out.
I'm also feeling like
I don't want to.
You don't want to hear the clip?
I'm sure people watching. Oh, my camera. Whoops. I'm sure people watching are like, "Ah, you pussy," but like, nah, man. Like,
okay, no, I respect it.
I really just don't.
I respect it.
It makes me like really uncomfortable.
Do you want me to describe the situation, or do you just not want me to go into that?
I just don't want you to go into it. I'm sorry.
No, I completely understand. That was one of the times where I was terrified.
See?
Absolutely terrified.
Yep.
Wow, I'm feeling it. I'm actually feeling it talking about it again.
See, it's like, yeah, I mean, and if I hear it or see it or something like that, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm going to be like followed or some shit. I'm like, I'm going to constantly feel that feeling whenever I think about it.
Yes,
and I don't want that.
No, I've had moments like that, and I'm literally having that right now. Thinking about it, I'm feeling that feeling I felt.
Yeah.
What else happened then? Feelings of intense sadness came through again that night. Guess whose name came through the Phasma Box?
Yours truly.
Emily.
Oh,
no,
Emily.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There was
could have guessed that.
I don't know who Emily was, but her name just kept coming up in cell block 1. They were knocking on cell doors, chills, and a very bad headache. So Chills, the YouTuber. No, I'm kidding. I felt chills. I actually felt chills there. And I had a really bad headache. Normally when I go to Eastern State, I have a bad headache, but this one in particular, I remember it was just very bad. Someone felt like they were getting stabbed in the kidneys in cell block 1. Being stabbed in the kidneys is like a common way to quote unquote shank somebody in prison.
Yeah.
Maybe that's, what they were feeling.
Yeah.
The smell of decomposition after one of the investigators, Pam, talked about seeing a man who's malnourished and stretched out on a bed. So I smelled like what smelled like decomposition. After she said that she felt that, or she saw this.
Yeah.
And she's one of those psychics. So she just had this vision of seeing this man stretched out on a bed, it's so weird. And then the last thing the Phasma Box did was say, get out, and then the tablet died. The tablet was fully charged, and the battery was barely used. But it said, get out, and now I'm not saying the Phasma Box literally said it. I'm saying something came through, obviously, and said it.
Yeah.
So just said, get out, and then the tablet just died.
Interesting.
So then we have one more night at Eastern State Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last night that I was there. The last night I was there was different. Also, it was very, very, very hot outside.
Mm-hmm.
So July 19th and 20th, I was actually in Philadelphia for the Halo Outpost Discovery thing.
Ooh,
After I left that, I went to the ghost hunt at Eastern State Penitentiary. So I was in Philly for a whole day, which I'm going to say it right here. I absolutely hate the city of Philadelphia.
I'm not a huge fan either, honestly.
God, I hate it so much. So this is the first time anyone in Ghost Hunts USA investigated these tunnels in Eastern State called the punishment cells.
Oh,
This is weird, dude. These cells are literally in a tunnel that's underneath everything, and it's just like one straight shoot down. It's kind of small, like I'd say 50 feet down. There's like 3 cells in there.
One way in, one way out kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then there's a door that leads to another tunnel further down, which you could see, like it was through glass and you could see through it.
Mm-hmm.
So every group that I took down there, women walked out.
Oh.
So literally every group, somebody, I would say at least 2 people walked out. In, I think it was the 3rd rotation.
Yeah.
I'd say I lost 3/4 of my group because they walked out feeling they just couldn't handle it in there. Something was so uncomfortable, and I felt it, but I can't leave because it's my job. Something was just so unwelcoming, and like you knew that you weren't supposed to be down there. But some
was
people,
it like a tight space?
It was a very tight space.
I feel
It's
like
very dark.
that would freak me out even more.
It was just, again, I can't describe the feeling of being down there. It just wasn't right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything else? It was a very uncomfortable atmosphere, and it did not seem okay. That was it. And now we're on to not Eastern State. We literally just did Eastern State. Don't worry, we're
doing
done.
it again.
Yes. We're on Old Montana State Prison.
Gotcha.
I will talk about this if you want me to. There's very dark entities involved there.
Ah, man. This is why you need to make a podcast so you can talk about this stuff without having a pussy mediator like me.
Like I said, I feel really uncomfortable talking about this stuff because not a lot of I don't typically give I don't have an outlet to talk about this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just talk about it as if it's, like I said again, I don't want to talk about it as if it's a party trick. It's just a job for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes, some crazy shit happens. I'll talk about it if you're okay.
Man.
I'll say the first thing, and then you could decide if you want me to continue.
All right, and then you can tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, that's how bad it is compared to everything else.
We're driving down there.
Oh.
So shit. I'm going right into it. So this story is really weird. So I'm driving down there, and it's me and 3 other people in this car. The Airbnb that we stayed at is an hour away from Old Montana State Prison. So we're driving down there, and I'm happy. I always try to go into these investigations as happy as I possibly can, because I know if I let my guard down, or if I, if I open myself up to being uncomfortable, they're going to take advantage of that and use it against me.
That's what one of your coworkers told me when I was working with her. And
she was usually always there at Eastern State Penitentiary with me. So if you let yourself down, or if you let your guard down, they're going to take advantage, and they're going to really mess with you then.
Gotcha.
So everyone in the car ride was saying how they're feeling really anxious about tonight. They're feeling like something bad is going to happen.
Interesting.
And I'm like, should I be afraid of this place? I really don't think, like, I'm not afraid. I'm more kind of excited to get into this and start doing it. I shit you not. 2 minutes after I say, 2 minutes after I say that.
You audibly said it.
Yes. Okay. We were all audibly talking about this in the car.
Gotcha.
2 minutes after, a rock just comes out of nowhere and slams into the windshield of the car, cracks it.
Ooh.
I have a picture here that I'll find on my phone.
It's not like, so it's not like you were driving behind somebody.
It was, so somebody was coming this way, but like, how does a rock get kicked up from them coming this way? And no matter what happened, a rock still hit our windshield while we were talking about this.
Gotcha.
Let's zoom in. That's the crag.
Oh man,
it was a pretty significant. Yeah, it was. So I can't say it was unexplainable, but it was like foreshadowing the events to follow. It's not necessarily creepy, but like to me, it's creepy because
it is, definitely is.
That's weird. So we get there, and let me start going into my notes because I haven't recorded anything to the log yet. So this was October 11th. Everyone was saying how anxious they were. Then that's just the story about the rock. So what we heard was some intelligent knocking, which I do have on video, but I haven't edited that clip yet.
Gotcha. Check out Dutch Latch Productions for videos? Question mark?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That should be on Duck Latch. And then also check out Ghost Hunts USA Facebook page.
Okay.
That's where we're going to be posting. I had to burp. Sorry. I didn't want to do that into the microphone. Check out Ghost Hunts USA on Facebook.
Gotcha.
That's where we'll be posting a lot of our stuff. So intelligent knocking, we were like, can you knock for us? It knocked. Can you knock for us twice? It knocked. Can you knock for us 3 times? It knocked 3 times.
Wow.
And this is coming from, like, the knocks were coming from a place where people can't be. Everybody that was there that night was in the room with us. So it's not like, somebody could hear us and is knocking. Everyone that's supposed to be with us is with us.
Yeah.
So that was weird. 2 guys that I was with said that they saw something that I'm only going to describe as incredibly demonic outside of the stairs from the chapel that I was previously mentioning. And then that, again, I don't want to push it. I don't want to talk more about that kind of stuff.
Nah.
Somebody was separated from us, so we were in the chapel, and then we put them in a tunnel, which is, I want to say, like 100, 200 feet away from where we are in the chapel. And they're further down this little tunnel. And we put them down there with a walkie-talkie, and we just kind of isolate them to see, like, hey, like, you want to feel something? Here's your chance. Go down here. We'll give you this walkie-talkie if you feel the urge to say something, because sometimes that's what they do. They make you think something, and then you have to say it.
Yeah.
So we just say, if you think something, say it. Anything, just say it, no matter what. So we put them down there, and we start asking we use the device, this EVP voice recorder. We use it, and we start asking that questions. And then he comes over on the walkie-talkie, and he's answering these questions for us, which was really freaky.
Really? So
then,
like he was out of the room. He couldn't hear you
he
guys.
couldn't hear us, and he starts answering these questions, which was, again, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And then another one of the people I'm working with starts to pray.
Interesting.
And then he calls over the walkie, and he's whispering these prayers. There's no way that I could barely hear him, and I was sitting right next to him. He says, something's telling me to tell you to stop praying. You need to stop praying. That one was really weird. And then my friend is also psychic, and he calls down to the person on the walkie, and he's like, do you have a tattoo of a cross on your leg? And he's like, yes. And this guy was wearing pants. We can't see his tattoo, so he says yes. And the guy also asks him if he ever played with Ouija boards before, and he says yes, and asks if something bad happened after they played with Ouija boards, and the guy confirms yes, something bad happened.
So I don't fuck with Ouija boards.
Yeah, it's just like really crazy shit. And like psychics, to me, like I don't know if I necessarily believe, but like seeing that right there, everything that just happened right there, that made me be like, yeah, psychics are legit. Like,
Okay.
definitely this guy that I was with is a legitimate, like, psychic.
So those two were communicating and asking the questions and stuff like that.
Yes.
So they haven't met each other before?
They have, because they were a guest. They were
Okay.
a guest in our investigation. So, like, they briefly met, I guess, because we were doing these investigations. And then, you know, we sent them down there. And it's not like they planned this out. They
Mhm.
couldn't have planned it out. And it was just really weird.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I have anything else from that night that you want to hear. I
Yeah.
felt very sick and afraid in the chapel. I kept feeling like I was going to throw up.
Gotcha.
Like I was going to actually straight up vomit. I was at a few points I was too afraid to move. I literally like felt paralyzed and I didn't want to move.
I've had that feeling too. Like it's the worst because of the fight or
Yes,
flight
yes.
or freeze. Fight, flight, freeze, the 3 Fs. I feel like I'm more of a fight or flight person, like depending on the situation, but there have been times where I'm like just freeze and that is the absolute worst.
It's
feeling.
such a I know.
It's helpless feeling like
You can't do anything.
yeah. Because some people will be like, "Oh, but just move or run or something like that." But
You physically can't.
yeah, like
It's like
you're like, "I should move, I gotta move." Like, but your brain's like, "Nah,
don't. Yes, stay right there.
yeah,
I know exactly. I know the feeling. And I've felt it from like physical things. Like when I was literally like just climbing a really big hill that I shouldn't, right next to the abandoned PA Turnpike. That was another time where I had that. But like, you know, with spirits, like this is a time where I had that at
Gotcha.
Montana.
Ooh, that brings up another question I had that I forgot.
What's up?
Okay, so a lot of the times, like, you see paranormal experts and ghost videos of, like, abandoned places
Yeah.
and, like, you know, ruins. Are there any places, like, that are just, like, you're in a forest or, like, the suicide forest in Japan and stuff like that and, you know, just, like, nature where places are extremely, like, haunted?
I have no idea. I would want to say that suicide forest is,
Uh-huh.
but I've never been there.
Because I feel like the reason why these buildings are haunted is because they're containing these spirits.
No, yeah, they capture that energy.
Okay.
Whereas, you know, out in the open, they have somewhere to go.
Gotcha.
It's again, like, it's weird. I don't know how to explain any of this, but it's like something is keeping these things there.
So what if the building is destroyed?
I don't know.
What if they are just? What if they decide, all right, like, F this penitentiary, like?
Well, there's also the thing of like Indian burial grounds.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes I guess if you build over an Indian burial ground, that your place is going to get
I don't
haunted.
know if that's like just like
Who
a
knows?
wives' tale or
Yeah,
something
I don't know.
like that.
I've never experienced
you know,
it.
Like, you know, who knows? But it's like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, is there a way to, you know,
Get rid of something?
you know, let them go kind of thing? Or is it like, you know, I don't know.
That's something, I guess, like almost like an exorcism, I want to say, like to get rid of these spirits.
Yeah.
But I don't know, again, how that's done. I don't have
Yeah,
experience
F that
in that.
shit too.
Yes.
Like, ghost hunting's one thing. Like, you know, another thing is like trying to get it, like, I don't know, just that whole process. I don't know if it's like the movies that have just been like really effed it up for me, but like, I don't know, that whole process of like trying to get it to leave and like giving it more power so it can leave without like, then they come in the whole possessed kind of thing, and it's like,
I don't typically watch movies like that or anything
hate
like
it,
that.
yeah.
And also, I don't. From what I've experienced, like ghosts aren't really necessarily like in the movies because obviously those are like an over exaggeration.
Yeah.
Shows again, I just don't watch because I don't think any of them are really real. And I think that again, that stuff is over exaggerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I forget how we got onto this topic.
Just the whole like,
or like
buildings
yes,
and like
yes,
land
yes,
and
stuff like that. So
yeah.
I guess let's see if I have anything else for that night. A bulb on I have a giant, my buddy Rob built this big IR light. And once I turned it on at this place, one of the bulbs exploded.
Oof.
Which is interesting. I don't know if that's a technical thing or what, but
I mean, some people could be like, it's a technical thing because it was homemade DIY kind of thing, but
so I was
never know.
I was in the chapel with my buddy, and we were kind of getting everything ready to leave, and we had this cube light that just was there, just illuminating the room, and we were on the altar, I guess, in the chapel, and we had all of our equipment, and we were packing it up, and then the light turns off between us. And again, this is in the chapel. This is after they saw that thing standing outside the door. And while I was there, something kept making me want to look towards that door. But I didn't want to look towards that door because I was afraid of getting marked by this thing. I was afraid of, that imprint just
sticking with you.
Yeah, sticking with me. The vision of that thing, because I heard what it was described as.
Don't describe it. Don't you dare.
I don't even like thinking about it because it's such a sickening image. The way that some of these things are described is just like absolutely horrifying to me. And it's weird that a description can do that, but like, I know what this shit could do to people. I know how it can affect people. Yeah. And I don't want to get involved with it at all.
Yeah, that's the thing with like ghost hunts. Like that's why I'm kind of very not wanting to do that, is because I feel like I'm not as strong mentally as like other people, and I won't be able to, God forbid anything like that happens, I'd probably be like a main target.
The thing is if you go in there looking for something, you're going to find it. If you go in there trying to bring something out or call something out, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
It's really, everyone always says, be careful what you wish for. And with the supernatural, that's 100% true.
Yeah.
If you go in there trying to summon demons, you're going to be stuck with something that's just so uncontrollable and so it's going to fuck up your life drastically. And it's this negative energy that will follow you. You don't want to call out for demons. I know people think it's cool, like I play with demons. It is not.
Yeah.
It's seriously not. I know from stories that I've heard, I know that people who do this stuff, they are so messed up afterwards.
Yeah.
And so much bad shit happens to them because they call out something that is so uncontrollable and so unnatural and unhuman. And it's something that you don't want to mess with. So I just say, if anybody wants to mess around with demons, you are so incredibly stupid because you have no idea what you're getting into.
Yeah. So,
and that's the only thing I'm going to say on that.
Since you obviously believe in like the whole demon stuff.
There are demons out there, and they lurk in places that have been through so much tragedy and so much negative energy, and they dwell in there. And they like control that space. That pig snort that I was telling you about.
Nah, you don't.
You don't want me to get into it?
Nah.
All right. These things are out there, and they make themselves known, and they will stick around with you if you let them.
Yeah. And that's what I don't want.
No, yeah. And if like I said, if you go in there trying to get it, you'll get it. If you go in there with, leaving it be, you won't. Just don't mess around with anything and you'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Don't call out something that you're not supposed to. I made a big mistake down in Montana.
Well,
and I was trying to get some activity and I called something out.
Yeah.
And I was told that there was a shadow that came up behind me. And then afterwards I wasn't acting like myself.
Interesting.
This is just really uncomfortable and it makes me feel like I'm crazy. But after I came home, I was instructed to, do a spiritual cleanse and take a salt bath. And fun fact, I walked up to somebody at Target and I was like, hey, do you guys have bath salts? Because I didn't know what they were called. It's Epsom salt. I'm a moron. But yeah, so I did that just to make sure. They said, it might stay in Montana, but please just make sure that you cleanse yourself.
Yeah, precautions.
Yes. But
well, I hope.
I feel much better. I don't think that there's anything with me.
Okay, yeah, good. I mean, yeah.
But I definitely know that I didn't feel like myself, and I wasn't acting like myself. At one point, the second night at Montana, I lost track of time. I was walking from one place, and I don't remember getting to the next. But after I saw the other guy that I work with, I snapped out of it, and I was like, I just saw you like seconds ago in this other building, and it's a 2-minute walk to get to this other place. How did you get here so fast? And like they were like, what are you talking about? And it was just so bizarre, losing track of time and not knowing. Like it was like I blacked out,
like an endless loop kind of thing.
Kind of like lagophobia, monophobia.
Yeah.
That was way before any of this.
So obviously, you believe in the bad juju. So does that mean you believe in a higher power?
I'd like to say that I do, but
it hasn't presented itself as prominently.
If there's evil, there has to be good.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I consider myself agnostic. I don't consider myself an atheist. I don't get me wrong. I do believe like where atheists are coming from, but I also would like to believe that there's something out there. There's a reason for everything, and I feel like there's something guiding everyone towards where they're supposed to go.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if it's the universe. I don't know if it's God. I don't know if it's I don't know, a giant flying spaghetti monster. But I do think that there's I know demons are there. There has to be angels. There has to be something good out there then as well.
I think also to bring back up the whole atheist thing, atheists are kind of misinterpreted in terms of they don't believe in a God and they want to try and disprove that.
Yeah.
You said what are you just
agnostic.
Agnostic. So that's more like you don't discount it, but you just don't believe in it.
I don't discount it, and I also just don't know what it is. Okay. I'm not saying it's Jesus Christ. I'm not saying it's God. I'm saying I don't know what is out there, and I haven't necessarily seen anything to show me this is Jesus Christ. This. That's what it is. I don't. I'm trying to figure out the words to say. I don't belong to any certain religion, I guess is what I'm saying, but I do believe in certain things. Like I do believe that there is some form of life after death. At least I hope so. I do believe that there is a higher power in some way, shape, or form.
It's hard not to.
It is, and it's weird talking about that. It's such a spiritual and deep thing to talk about.
Yeah,
but when you think about the way things are, and like even just the way DNA is structured and all that stuff, it's so weird to think that I mean, it does just naturally happen. Don't get me wrong, but it's so weird to think that it is just so weird to think that naturally happens. I'm not saying evolution isn't real, because I know evolution is real. Don't get me wrong. But it's just so weird to think about how everything works out so perfectly, and we're not just globs of goop.
Yeah. And we could be
rolling around. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff we don't know and we'll never know, and it's kind of just like that shitty feeling of not ever knowing. So we make things up. Well, not make things up, but kind of, we'll go with things, or sometimes make things up, or try and rush to conclusions.
Yeah, it's like things. I like to think about it like I had to burp, sorry. I like to think about it like when the ancient Greece people. I butchered that. I know that there's I don't know, Greeks.
Yeah, the Greeks.
The Greek gods and all that stuff. Natural phenomenons that they, made a god for.
Yeah.
This god controlled the sea, Poseidon, stuff like that. Again, I lost my track of thought, but that's, yes.
No. Gotcha.
Do you have any more questions? Did anyone, while we're sitting down here, did anyone ask questions? I know that I have 3 questions in the backlog that people asked me a while ago. So I'll just, say it. You ready for this one? Somebody asked me.
That's the spoopy image I put up.
What is that? That's very spoopy. I don't like it.
I mean, it looks spooky because I have it in black and white, but it's just it's a light that's pointing down on a taxidermy of a cow's head, but not really a cow's head, like a ox head. But it's just in the wrong way where the horns kind of make the arms. So it's just a silly image. But now when I look at it, I'm kind of creeped out by it. Yeah. Fuck you.
Sorry. Somebody asked me, are ghosts real? Yes,
I don't
think that they
think you
are.
didn't even
At
need to
least
answer it.
Yes. Another person asked me, and this is very specifically worded, so I don't want to butcher the wording, because it is a important question, I guess.
Yeah.
That I have a good response for. If I could just pull it up. My story archive. Nope, it's the wrong story.
Oof.
What does one have to do in terms of permits and such to be allowed to investigate a property? Just get a ticket to a Ghost Hunts USA event. It's really as simple as that. It's pricey, yeah, but you're not breaking into something that you can get fined for.
And that experience is going to last you.
Exactly.
your
Like
life.
you're going to have. I can't say you're going to have a paranormal experience, but you're going to have an experience.
Yeah.
You're also going to be with trained professionals, trained
With
paranormal investigators.
equipment, all that
Yes,
stuff,
you'll
yeah.
be able to use our equipment. You'll be able to do, whatever you want. I know locally we have a lot of places in New Jersey. We have a place in Gettysburg. We have the Shanley Hotel. Literally, like every weekend, pretty much, you can go to the Shanley Hotel. I can say without a doubt that place is haunted, and that place you're going to have an experience at. That place changed my life and
So
the way
it's
that
more
I
of
look.
a hotel.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like a 30-room hotel.
Interesting. Okay.
It was built in like the late 1800s.
All right.
If you watch my documentary, I go into the history of it.
Gotcha.
But it's a very beautiful place. It's very nice. It's about a 2-hour drive away from here. I highly suggest going there. If you want to see a ghost, go to the Shanley Hotel. What else? We got some places. We have a whole lot of places all around the country, but locally, just New Jersey, New York, Gettysburg,
That's
Eastern
cool.
State Penitentiary.
Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of the.
We only have one place in Gettysburg, but I know that there's a whole lot of ghost tours and stuff in Gettysburg.
Yeah, because Civil War.
Mhm.
Yeah, there. They do, I guess, a lot of reenactments there. And
Yes,
stuff
I've
like
always
that.
wanted to see stuff like that.
My dad actually went a while ago, and I was going through his old tapes. I was digitizing stuff, and he just had a whole bunch of footage of that and stuff. It was pretty interesting. I mean, just seeing, just hundreds of people in uniform,
just
all
doing that stuff.
Yeah.
It's so cool how they could actually, like, accurately, recreate those events.
Yeah, exactly.
I think one other question I had was, has there ever been a moment where you felt something could harm you? Yes, down in that chapel, I felt I felt like I was at the mercy of something that was I couldn't see, I couldn't control, I couldn't fight off.
That is the feeling I do not want to ever experience.
And that's another thing. I don't want to talk people out of going to these things.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk people out of it trying to experience the paranormal. Just do it in a smart way. Don't go in there, again, taunting demons. Don't go in there looking for something evil, because you don't. You don't want something like that ever getting near you or ever being able to affect you. Say you go to a place that might have a demon there, just don't mess around with it.
Yeah.
These things are demons aren't human, obviously, but spirits were human. If you call them out, they're going to get pissed off. If you treat them like a person, they're going to be fine and they'll communicate back with you. That's like the golden rule of this thing. Just don't piss things off.
Yeah, just be polite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be polite. Be open to communicate. The energy that you put into this, not just like your actual body energy, like the actual energy, like if you're laughing, if you're getting into it, if you're just having a good time, you're going to get that energy back. These things were people too, and they enjoy company. Just treat them like human beings, and they'll talk to you.
Yeah,
that's the big thing. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of them. I feel like they want me in cell block 1 when I go to Eastern State Penitentiary. I feel like they're comfortable with me there. It's a feeling like no other, knowing that, like, and again, this sounds so weird. It's a feeling that, like, you can't describe when you're communicating with the other side.
Yeah. It's
awesome. And I want everyone to be able to experience that.
Nice.
Do you have any other questions for me?
I do not.
Excellent. I think we had an excellent conversation here.
I do too.
I'm happy I was finally able to talk about my experiences. Whenever somebody asks me what the hell I do with ghost hunting, I'm not going to tell them everything I said. I'm going to direct them here.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because it's way too much.
It's a lot.
It is. It's a whole lot.
It's an hour and 40 minutes worth.
It's an hour and 40 minutes. That's much better than I expected it to be time-wise. But I think we got everything out there.
Yep.
If anybody has any questions, please ask me. Get in touch with Cole. Have him ask me. I'd like to talk about this, just as long as you don't mock me about it or think I'm crazy.
No. I can't control the comments, but
that's perfectly fine. You can't control the comments. Let them come. But like, if you actually want to have a legitimate discussion with me, have a legitimate discussion with me. If you just say I'm stupid, then you're stupid. F off. You know, like
whatever. Yeah,
just talk to me.
Is there anything you want to plug where people listening can find, like, where you're going to post stuff? Or
yes. So,
I know.
Ducklatch Productions. That's my YouTube channel. You're going to find the Penhurst investigation, the Shanley investigation on there. Look at that. Follow it. I'm going to be putting some ghost hunting stuff up there. The 042 clip that Cole didn't want to listen to, I'm going to be putting that up. I'm going to edit it in some way and put that up. Ghost Hunts USA Facebook page, Ghost Hunts USA website. Go on there. See if something works for you. Christmas is coming up. You want to give somebody an experience they won't forget. Look for the investigations that we got coming up in the new year. Again, I can't stress enough how incredible it is to experience the supernatural, and Ghost Hunts USA does a fantastic thing here where we, give people that experience to be like the people on like Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters. I know that there's so many people out there who are into that, and not a lot of people know about Ghost Hunts USA, so it's good for them. I want people to know about it, so that way they have this experience. They're able to do what I do.
Gotcha.
I love it. I'm sure other people are going to love it. Go into it with an open mind and have a lot of fun.
So you guys aren't restricted to the East Coast, correct?
We are everywhere. Like
okay.
I was.
That's what I thought.
I went to Montana.
Yeah.
We got stuff even in California. We got stuff all over the place.
Gotcha. All right.
GhostHuntsUSA.com.
Just so people aren't confused that, this is just an East Coast thing.
Yes, no, it is. It's all over. We are not affiliated with Ghost Hunters. We're not affiliated with Ghost Adventures. We are our own thing. Ghost Hunts USA.
Gotcha. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Ruining my week because I'm not going to be able to sleep. But you know what? This was a very good, interesting talk. And
awesome.
Yeah. So happy Halloween, everybody. And catch you on the next one.
Yes. Yes.